Basically, Gary Lineker, we all know Gary Lineker, famous striker, Leicester supporter, played for Barcelona, played for Everton as well, very briefly, I believe. So, and of course, very famous pundit, Match of the Day host. Now, he was, I think, stood down or was removed as host of Match of the Day by the BBC because of some tweets that he put out that basically went against a proposed bill that could be passed in UK government, in UK Parliament. Basically, I don't want to get into the political side of things, but basically the bill was about illegal immigration and stopping the boats. I hope that doesn't get clipped up. So, of course, that happens. Lineker was basically saying that this is bullshit and this is ridiculous, as is his right. Freedom of speech exists, and he was stood down by the BBC. Now, I think he was anyway. I don't know if he's been reinstated. I know I heard Match of the Day happens and wasn't that good. Without any of them, of course, Ian Wright said he wasn't going to do it. Alan Shearer said he wasn't going to do it. So, by all accounts, Match of the Day was rubbish, and by all accounts, it was a pretty shitstorm of an episode. And I think he's been back to hosting it. I think, but basically, I think this is a wider conversation. This allows for a wider conversation about, I wouldn't say politics in football, but at least the response to politics in football. Because can I just say this, well and truly say this right now? There is no such thing as keep politics out of football. Politics and football are incredibly intertwined with each other, right? So to at least say that we can at least kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but to at least accept this conversation and to at least acknowledge how this conversation is going to go, we need to acknowledge that politics and football incredibly interlinked and will never be separated from each other, right? Hence why sports washing has been a thing forever, because football is, and sport in itself is a superb way to get around or to sports wash and to make yourself look a lot better than what you are, right? Because of how good and because of the reputation that football has around the world. So football and politics intrinsically linked. Okay, that's first and foremost. Secondly, when there is obviously no right or wrong, maybe I should have said that, but there is, okay, people have different morals, people have different moral compasses, and regardless of your beliefs and regardless of your opinions, I do believe, as long as they're not ridiculously stupid, right? As long as they're not like, I'm not going to say any potential opinions that someone could have, but I think you understand the proper extreme, just ridiculous opinions, right? People have the right to freedom of speech, which is the main crux of this conversation. People have the right to freedom of speech, and people have the right to express their opinion in a respectful, non-confrontational, non-aggressive tone. By all means, right? And you cannot punish someone for having an opinion. You cannot punish someone for expressing that opinion in a respectful, or non-confrontational way. And I think the response by the BBC shows one thing to me, shows a couple of things, but firstly, what it shows is fear. It shows a lot of fear that they can't have, that the people that they have on their show can't have any agency over what their opinions are. And I think this is the problem in which a lot of mainstream media, in football in particular, has, is that there are no opinions anymore. There are no people anymore. It is just robots. You're getting robots to present shows because you can't have companies and organizations and TV broadcasters and talent agencies and production companies are scared of having someone who has a opinion, because when you have an opinion, there are people who disagree with that opinion, and when people disagree with that opinion, some shit can happen, right? And I think it's about having the knowledge and the I think it's about having the knowledge and I wouldn't say integrity, but having the I think it's about having the accountability and the responsibility and the knowledge of understanding I can have an opinion, but I need to construct my opinion in a way in which is not confrontational and is not aggressive. That's what I think has happened, and yet I think that has happened in this scenario, and yet the BBC have still responded in such a way. I think freedom of speech is very important, and I think obviously within reason, and I think and I think you need to be able because you need to be able to understand where you are and who you are and what you are trying to portray, right? And the influence you have. And the reason I say this is because I was scrolling through the timeline recently and I tweeted about this. I think I might have actually no. I decided against tweeting about it, but something came up on my timeline in which it was a clip from Sky from I think it was from the post game kind of punditry of a Chelsea Tottenham match. In the Chelsea won the game 2-0 at the new London at the new Tottenham Stadium. I think it was the 2-0 game where Willian scored a brace. Anyway, good game that one. Anyway, it was a game in which Antonio Rudiger was at least allegedly to have been racially abused, and Garry Neville was very public on the broadcast and was very out there and very passionately pleading in a sense to the FA and to the PFA and to the people in charge to protect footballers, because it was about he made the comparison in which we can point they could have pointed fingers to a bunch of other federations who weren't doing a whole lot of things. Of course, I think it was around about that time in which some things had happened in Bulgaria, I want to say, with the England supporters. Maybe things had happened in Italy with maybe it would have been Moise Kean. I don't quote me on that, but I think it was around about that same timeline. I'm pretty sure. And he was basically saying that we can point fingers to federations all we want, but we need to look at our own backyard and get our stuff sorted. And the host basically had to put a disclaimer saying that those weren't the views of Sky Sports, they were the views of Garry Neville. And I didn't really think about that until I saw it on the timeline recently, or I saw it on the timeline yesterday, and I was thinking about it, and it made me think a lot about the way that we respond as people, as media, as pundits, as organisation, as broadcasters. It made me think anyway about the way that we respond to things, because we're there to watch football, right? When I switch on Optus Sport, but if you're in the UK and you switch on Sky Sports, or you switch on the BBC, or if you switch on ITV, switch on Amazon Prime, switch on fucking DAZN or whatever, you're there to watch sport. You're there to watch Chelsea play away at Brentford, midday kickoff. That's what you're there to watch, right? You're not there. Well, maybe not midday kickoff. 4:30 on a Monday. That's what you're there to watch. You're not there to watch You're not there to watch a political debate. You're not there to abuse the TV about what this person thinks about this person, or this person thinks about this thing. You're there to watch a football. And I understand, and obviously I made the point earlier that football and politics are incredibly linked. However, there needs to be a line that you draw, and of course this line is incredibly arbitrary. I understand this line is incredibly arbitrary, because where do you draw it, right? Where do you draw your moral line, right? But it goes back to the thing of you need to be able to separate it to an extent. And you need to be able to understand, okay, this person, within reason, obviously, and I need to clarify within reason, because there are some things in which some people can think, and there are some opinions that some people can have, and if they voice those opinions, they shouldn't be in a position of influence. But you need to be able to allow people to express their opinions, because that is how you develop connections with people, and that is how you get people. That is how you develop a kind of two-way communication kind of structure. If I'm telling you something, and if I'm showing you something, and if I'm the only person doing anything, and you're just sitting there consuming it and not developing your own opinions about things, your life is lived vicariously through me, or through whoever, based on whatever they say or based on whatever I say, that creates a lot of issues, right? That creates a lot of issues. And it creates that person who is very uninteresting, and is very not personable, and is very disconnected. You need people who are connected to humanity. And being connected to humanity means having opinions, and means being more than just the match of the day presenter, right? That is what Garry Lineker is, and I think it is getting to the point now where we are punishing freedom of speech, and we are punishing people having opinions, which is a dangerous game, very dangerous game. I think I waffled a bit. I hope my point got across well. I hope it did. I don't know if it did, but I hope it did. Yeah, I think that's basically all I need to say on that. I think it is one of those things, right, where it's like, where do you draw the line? I don't know. Garry Lineker is obviously very good at what he does. Match of the day is obviously a big part of his life, and it's a big part of Alan Shearer's life, I assume, and Ian Wright was another one who voiced his displeasure over the decision. I'm assuming, and I can almost guarantee that they are big parts of their life, or it is a big part of their life. So you can't dismiss it. You can't just say, get over yourself. And they can't move on. Well, they can move on. Garry Lineker can move on. Alan Shearer can move on. And Ian Wright can move on. They don't need match of the day, right? But match of the day is such an institution that is almost a battle worth fighting for. And I think they've won that battle in the end. I think they've backed down. The powers that be have backed down, and they have allowed common sense to shine through in a way. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see.